My name is Luki Shai, and this is my Unit 2 assessment. And I title my talk, Image Object and its Ontology. I'd like to begin my talk by kind of saying some lines or some sentences about how I approach the word image or the whole concept of image. So here it goes. An image does not require a camera. An image is not static and is in flux. An image is immaterial. An image exists within a platform or domain. And in an image, absolute time does not exist. Instead, durational time is experienced. So what I kind of want to do here was that I wanted to distinguish image and photograph, because it's very quite core in my practice, and I prefer to use the word image over a photograph. Now, it's been discussed that images are significant surfaces and that images signify. If I read out, it goes, images signify mainly something out there in space and time that they have to make comprehensible just as abstractions. So images are abstractions. The specific ability to abstract surfaces out of space and time and to project them back into space and time is what is known as imagination. And imagination is the precondition for the production and decoding of images. In other words, the ability to encode phenomena into two-dimensional symbols and to read these symbols. I'll just go on. The significance of images is on the surface, and I think surface as one material, or the floor as something it doesn't seem like a material, but it's a material for me. So the significance of images is on the surface. One can take them in at a single glance, yet this remains superficial. If one wishes to deepen the significance, i.e. to reconstruct the obstructed dimensions, one has to allow one's gaze to wander over the surface, feeling the way as one goes. This wandering over the surface of the image is called scanning. And this scanning, I'll talk back to my, I'll talk later a bit in relation to what I've made this term. So if I keep on going. In so doing, one's gaze follows a complex path on one hand by the observer's intentions. In this bit, the significance of the image as revealed in the process of scanning therefore represents the synthesis of two intentions, one manifesting the image itself and the other belonging to the observer, or any observer. So some of my practices. This was quite early on. February 15th, mid-February, 10 of us from CHAP, we used the space over there, and my piece was kind of, there's nothing really too deep about this, but what I wanted to do here was to kind of bring in an image in a space, enlarge it, and potentially push it and kind of like make it as something else than an image, so image object, kind of playing around the in-between places of image and object. And now, I mean, at a glance, it might not be easy to notice, but it's actually kind of divided into multiple divisions, and it's divided in ways that one's more zoomed in others a bit zoomed out. So there's that difference there. This piece was kind of with the 3 is a magic number workshop, and I kind of brought into the group this piece, which is to do with 3 moths, and which I later kind of, I didn't finalize it, but in the process, it was a very crucial point in this term. So pictures, the 3 moths are images I found from encyclopedia, and the rest are screenshots I took from Google Earth, very zoomed in. So it's from two different platforms or environments, which I then kind of brought it up like this. So, which one reference to this work is Kishio Suga, who was a part of monoha movement in Japan. And the bit I was talking earlier in the first slide, the significance of the image as revealed in the process of scanning therefore represents the synthesis of two intentions. One manifests in the image, and the other belonging to the observer. What I tried to explore that in this piece was this bit is what I believe is what this is about. So it's not, there's no materiality here, but you can sense that this area is all, like, there's a space there, and there's an image existing there within one's mind, observer. So it's not, it's happening between the observer and the image, the material image. So it's the observer and the material image creating an immaterial image. Later I had a talk with Abbas, one of the test lectures, and he kind of, I shared my practice, and he introduced me to this concept called skeuomorphism, which is a term most often used in graphical user interface design to describe interface objects that mimic their real-world counterparts and how they appear and or how the users can interact with them. A good example of this is you go on a laptop, there's like a bin, right? And that bin is a bin, like a little bin, but it's not, it's, or like the calculator you have on your phone, it's like designed as the original calculator, which doesn't have to be like that. But, and I kind of like related that with my, not really personal experiences, but something that was quite close to me, which is to do with how food or fish is packaged in Japan. So probably Japan and any other Asian country, you go to a supermarket or any shop and fish will be packaged with a bit of leaf. And this leaf is what perhaps Abbas thought that I was interested in skeuomorphism. And up until here, I was kind of interested into, I didn't know that I was interested into, sorry, that sentence. So after the conversation I had with Abbas, I realized that my interest was not into nature, but the representation of nature and how it's being represented. And some are adequate and some are not adequate in regards to current climatical crisis. So some other iterations I did with, from kind of like mimicking this piece. In French, there's a term called mise en scène. Mise en scène, thank you. I cannot say that. But it's a theatrical term used in theater, and it goes the arrangement of actors and scenery on a stage for a theatrical production or stage setting. So I was like, in my installation, I would always think about how these entities relate to each other and create a one bigger unit in themselves, which, in a larger scale, I think that's what's happening in, say, mountains or nature or by a lake or a stream or river, because, yeah. And in this case as well, the packaging itself. Now, on the right bit, I won't talk much about this because I do not have time. But me and Neo, we kind of worked together during this term, and we kind of came up with this diagram. And it might be a little difficult to read, but it goes, so there's a triangle, a rectangle, and an arrow. And it says sight, image, Abbas, and space. So thinking about how we're drawn into things from seeing an image and how it's put in a space. And so this diagram kind of helped me and Neo work together in our individual practices. So some other iterations. Yeah. So yeah, state of things. This is kind of related to, I'll show you the clip of this first, sorry. for top cinema. It goes for 3 minutes, but only here it's only 30 seconds. You kind of get the idea what's happening there. And so the state of things is what I kind of wanted to depict here. So in this book, Towards the Philosophy of Photography, he goes, state of things, the scenario in which what is significant are the relationships between things, not the things themselves. So it's always the relationship between the things that creates the being of its entirety. And one might think that the fish in the leaf is the most important thing, but I believe that the most important thing is the sheet, because that's exactly what the sound is about, and it sets the scene. River. Other iteration I did. So projection. It is projected around. So, yeah, I'll talk about this later more. I'll come back to this if I have time. Maybe I don't.
3 minutes left.
This is what I submitted for the sculpture park proposal. A billboard with fridge, industrial fridge thing. Don't know the name. What was it? This proposal I submitted. And then, yeah, trashing, capped out of all. So again, I was thinking about the depiction of fish and its representation. So here I kind of created a costume where I'm carrying a fish, and also a costume itself that looks like a fish. And it's kind of, I'm referencing Monster Hunter and Soldiers in the Game. This comes from my interest of the ontological state of nature, or parts of nature depicted in games, and how it's kind of, I believe that it's like in a default setting, but fake. It's always on, but it's programmed and designed, so it's fake, but it's so real to me that I'm so fascinated about it. And this also comes with a sound. Yeah, quite simple, but I think it adds up. It adds to the whole representation of fish, a dead fish. Also, one other element I'd like to add on is I'm very interested in the lining of the image, the background, and I think it's important. Like, you see an image, it's flat. On a screen, it's flat. There isn't the other side. But by printing it out large, you create a different side to it. And I think it's quite important. And I wish to kind of carry this on in my later term. Now, last bit, the most important bit, I only have 40 seconds. It goes with, this is the last slide. It kind of goes, John Baudrillard and his idea of successive phases of an image. He says there's 4 phases, 4 stages in an image. And it goes, 1, it is a reflection of basic reality. 2, it masks and perverts a basic reality. 3, it masks the absence of a basic reality. And 4, it bears no relation to any reality whatever. It is its own pure simulacrum. So the original, there's the fish itself, and that's a 0. That's like the most 0 state. And then there's a photograph of it that I found on internet, and then I took a screenshot of it, which is 2, I believe it is. And then me printing it out, and I think goes to number 3. It masks the absence of a basic reality. What I mean by this is that in the real fish, there's texture to it, and there's meat to it, there's nutrients and energies to it. But me printing it out, it looks similar, but there's the texture in all these reality of a fish is gone. It's gone. So I think that's the absence of reality. And 4, I don't know, I just connected it, but by making these kind of extending it furthers it from its original environment, making it disconnect with the original state. Therefore, bears no relation to any reality. But this is something that I really need to read and think more and figure out if it's right or wrong or whatever. Yeah. And yeah, I'd like to end my presentation there.
Thank you.